Hello you guys, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome here if you are new. I decided to try something new that I have never had personally and also never had on this channel, obviously. But I've heard lots of people talk about it, so I decided to try out Houston's hot chicken. If you can see. Okay, cool. So I only got the sandwiches because obviously I've never had it, and I didn't want to have like too much going on. So I got the sandwiches to try this time, and then maybe in the future I can try out their chicken tenders. But what I did do was I got one of their, I can't remember if it was, well, I got mild, this one's mild, and it comes with coleslaw, their special sauce, and pickles. All of their sandwiches like just come with that. And then this one, I can't remember if it was called hot or if it was spicy, but they have, I think, 7 flavors or 6. So I just tried to get, you know, like the regular, and then I got the spicy. And then it also comes with literally so many fries. This is 2 orders of fries. Well, these are just the orders that came in the box, and they like really filled up the box. So, you know, that's what that is. And then this is I think it's strawberry hibiscus lemonade, something like that. Let me see if I can taste it. Definitely tastes strawberry. I'm pretty sure it was strawberry hibiscus. And then I just got ranch, which they have the Ken's ranch, like the brand Ken's ranch. They didn't have like their own, which is kind of a bummer because I love when places have their own and then seeing if they actually have the best kind of ranch. But I also got their 2 specialty sauces right here. So 2 versions of that. But I'm gonna go ahead and jump right in and try these fries. They're a little cold, but I did get it delivered, so. I'm also not the hugest fan of crinkle cut fries. Let's see what their sauce tastes like. It's almost like it kind of tastes like something you would, like an Asian spicy sauce. It's like sweet, not really spicy, but what is that flavor? It's good. I like it. So for today's video, I'm going to be talking about an arsonist who was also a murderer. It wasn't just arson. This takes place in California back in the, I'm gonna move this over here. Back in the 80s is when this started. The first one happened at a hardware store. I believe it's pronounced an Olay, O-L-E, Olay hardware store. And a fire broke out in this store. And it ended up that 4 people couldn't make it out, 2 employees and then a grandma and her grandson didn't make it out of the fire. So 4 people died. Now obviously fires are always investigated to see like kind of who's at fault. Sometimes it's electrical, sometimes it's a product. You know, you never know what it could be. And so all of these people from all these companies that are representing their own company are investigating this fire. The investigators, every single one of them, decided that this was just an electrical fault. Because it took place, it happened on like one of the shelves, and there's that's like styrofoam, not styrofoam, it's some kind of like a foam. I don't know if it's an insulation type foam, but it's highly flammable, and it comes in like an aerosol type can. And that's where the fire broke out, on one of the shelves. And so they just chalked it up to, okay, it was definitely an electrical fault. But there was no electrical anything near it. So this one specific fire investigator who was very, very good at his job, like one of the best, his name was John Orr. He comes in, he's like, no, this was absolutely somebody set the fire intentionally. But the thing about fires is that it's very hard to find anything afterward to like find the starter or to find the starting point they can find, but the actual reason for the start of the fire, usually everything gets destroyed. So it's very hard to find these things. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and try this is just the mild sandwich. See how this is. It's honestly really good. And there still is like a little bit of spice to it, even though it's mild, so. Okay. So this fire happens, 2 years go by. They decide, okay, it was just an accident. Like nobody actually set the fire except for one guy who believed that somebody actually did set the fire. Now the thing about California is that there are so many fires there because it's so dry. I'm sure you guys have heard of the fires in California that happen every year. I mean, it's just all over the state. And they're usually wildfires. But this one, these fires were different because they all took place in structures, just like buildings. You know, I don't like coleslaw, but it really does add something to the sandwich. It's very good. So 2 years goes by, and then more fires break out. These are all happening in fabric stores. It was somewhere up around Fresno. I'm not sure if it was in Fresno or a little town that was outside of it. This is where these 3 fires set off, and they were all within the same day, one after the other. So it's like somebody is intentionally setting these and then moving away, and then as soon as the fire department gets to stop one fire, he's starting the next, so that they have to keep like catching up. So in these 3 fires, I didn't see anything about anybody getting hurt or dying in them. Maybe, you know, like some smoke ingestion, something like that, but it was nothing like this first one at the hardware store. Now fast forward another 2 years. Two more fires break out. And this was near Bakersfield, California. Or no, this was near Glendale, California. I don't know how far they are apart. I think they're a couple hours apart. I've never lived in California, so I'm not sure. But anyway, 2 more fires break out. Same type, structural fires, places that are highly flammable, but also some fires had been set in the wild, like off to like a brush fire. And so it's kind of like the fire department is like, okay, well, we're just like running around everywhere trying to stop the brush fire, because obviously, I mean, structural fires are terrible. They burn people's houses and everything, but like brush fires, those can really go far really fast. Who happens to be at the scene? The fire investigator, John Orr. Nobody could find anything that had like any kind of indication that it was from this, like that it was an arsonist who did this. So they need to have like some sort of a starter or like a fire starter. They need to find remnants of it or prove that this was intentionally set. So John Orr, being like the incredible investigator that he is, goes out and within 30 minutes finds the device just like in the brush. And this had spread like a really long ways, and it was just like really unlikely that he would find it, but he did. Now, another fire in the same area. It was a structural fire. One of the investigators, I believe his last name was Casey, actually found the device. And it was because this fire had been put out by one of the employees with just like a fire extinguisher. They caught it in time. And so he came to investigate. And it was like this little, so it was a cigarette with a couple of matchsticks rubber banded to it, wrapped in paper. So as the cigarette butt slowly burned, it would light the matches, which would then ignite the rubber, which would keep it burning through the paper, and placed on something that's highly flammable, like it was gonna be a huge fire, right? So he's looking at this and he's like, I think that I can see some kind of a fingerprint on this. So I'm going to send it in. I'm going to see what prints come back. But they didn't find anything. There was no matching prints in the system. Of course, most of the people who are fingerprinted are all criminals, right? So if it's somebody who's a first-time offender, they're not going to be in the system. At this time, there happened to be a fire conference going on in the area. So that's where all of the firefighters, fire investigators, people from different agencies that have to do with helping investigate fires, they were all at this conference. And it seemed to be that with all these fires, they were kind of in like a line going down the highway. So it was somewhere quick where somebody could like set a fire, quickly jump on the highway and then get away and then on to the next one, you know, like they were all places that were easily accessible. So it's almost like they were kind of thinking, okay, well, maybe this person is like setting fires like on the way home or like down, you know, a trail. They're on their way somewhere and they're setting fires on the way. So because they didn't get any print from this fire starter evidence, it kind of went cold again. Another 2 years goes by, and the fire started again. And this time it was also near the fire conference that they had for that year. And so the investigators kind of caught on once these fires started up again near this fire conference. And they were like, okay, well, let's just cross-reference the names from both the people who were at the conference 2 years ago and then also this conference, right? They're like, maybe there's some names that match up. Same people were at this conference. Obviously, these people know a lot about fires, starting fires, stopping fires. And so they were like, this is a good place to start. So there were only 10 names on the list that matched up from people who went to the first conference, people who went to this newest conference. But it was all a dead end. None of the people had criminal records. They were all like completely cleared from this like lineup. During these fires, however, another fire starter, the same type, it had the cigarette with the matches and the rubber band and the paper, was found at one of the scenes. So, more evidence, right? The investigators decided, or the investigators who were specifically assigned to this case, decided that they would form together a task group to fight off who they then named the Pillow Pyro. The reason they named him the Pillow Pyro is because he was setting fires in, you know, fabric stores, places that were highly flammable, like pillows, right? Okay, this is the spicy sandwich, or the hot, whatever it's called, I really don't know. I feel like it's gonna be spicy. Okay. I mean, it is obviously spicy, but it's spicier than most spicy sandwiches that you would get at just like a regular fast food restaurant. But this is obviously a place where you're gonna get spicy chicken. So I think for it being an actual spicy chicken sandwich, like, they did a good job with the spice. It actually does taste spicy. And I think that there were like 2 levels in between mild, and whether this is hot or spicy, I'm not sure. But there was 2 levels in between it, I'm pretty sure. Honestly, it's kind of like it leaves behind a burn. It's already kind of hurting my stomach and giving me heartburn. So, like, that's the level of spice that it's at, in case you guys are wondering. This sauce is actually really good, though. It's sweet. And it's on all their sandwiches. Just automatically, the sauce comes with it. Okay. So this task force, they're all together. One of the investigators, the investigator Casey, who was in, I want to say he was in Bakersfield, like that fire department. The one who found the first evidence of the fire starter, he was there as well. And then representatives from the most recent fire were there. And they were all passing around ideas, passing around notes. And the one thing that came up was 2 people had found this fire starter, right? So, of course, the second people, they didn't run it for prints, but they were like, okay, well, let's like set it in and run it for prints and then see what happens, right? Because the first one, obviously, it was a dead end, nothing showed up. The thing about, I don't know if this is just California, but when people are applying to jobs or like say any kind of like firefighting, policeman, any kind of investigating type job, people are fingerprinted. So they had records of everybody, and they had assumed that this was somebody who maybe worked either in the firefighting, fire investigating field, or somebody who had applied and then they were mad about it that they didn't get in. So they started setting all these fires because they were angry, right? So the prints got a match. To fire investigator John Orr. So of course people, their first thought was like, there's no way this guy is the best fire investigator. Like, he's always been able to find fire starters like in record time. He can figure out, he can solve these fire crimes just like so amazingly quick that he was like one of the best. And so now you're thinking, okay, well, the reason he probably found all of these so quickly was because A, he was starting them, or B, he knew exactly what they were thinking and where to look because he was the same way and he was doing the same thing. So people were like, okay, well, we can't just like jump to conclusions because this guy is like one of the best. And obviously, like, he's a good guy. There's no reason to believe that he would do anything like this. They get a warrant. They go into his house. They find more things. For example, they found tapes with videos on them of every single fire that had been set that they thought was set by this specific arsonist. He had been at the scene before fire trucks even arrived, taping the whole thing because he wanted to watch it burn. That's how pyromaniacs act, is they get off on the idea of destruction, or like they love fire, or they love to see it spread, or a lot of them, you know, they're just looking for attention, and so they want to be recognized for it. So you're thinking, okay, well, wasn't he at the scene of this first crime that happened, and he was the only one who believed that somebody had started the fire and that it wasn't an electrical fire? She's like, why would he rat himself out? It's because he wanted the recognition for it. He wanted people to know that it was him. So they arrest him. They bring him to court. And he basically like doesn't have a leg to stand on. There's evidence, you know, the actual fire starting material. They were in his briefcase, which that could be like passed off because he was an instructor at these conferences. So he taught people and he certified a lot of these fire investigators for many years. And so they're like, okay, well, that's not like damning evidence. So let's go and see what else we can find. They found the videos. And again, that was like, well, that's a little bit weird because he was at the scene of the crime. It was all kind of coincidental stuff. Now, he actually, the reason that, spoiler alert, he is in prison, and he was found guilty and got like 4 life sentences. He had to be tried in 2 different jurisdictions because he committed crimes. One, the fires that had burned down multiple people's houses in Southern California. And then I don't know if Fresno is south, but it's more north of the other 2 places, Glendale and Bakersfield. So that was where the hardware store was. And so he had to be tried there as well. But for that, he was being tried for 4 counts of murder. And it was like intentional murder. And so basically they got him on the stand, they figured this all out, and he claimed that it wasn't his fault because people should know where all of their exits are. And they should know that in case something happens, like, you should be able to get out. And so he's basically blaming them. He had no remorse for them because he claimed that they should have known their nearest exits and they wouldn't have died. So the jury didn't side with him. And a lot of that is because, and especially like the firefighters and everybody who was in it, they were all like, well, it would be one thing if he had set these fires, and yeah, that he still would have been convicted on some crimes, I'm sure, for this. But had he started the fires and, you know, he was just burning buildings and nobody had been hurt, like, that would be a completely different story. But he started off all of these like serial arsony. He started all these fires by killing 4 people and then continued to do it. Like, it wasn't something that he was just like, oh, I just like have this thing in my brain where like I have to see fires burn. Like, no, it was, he killed people and then continued to do it knowing the risk of it because he was in a way testing people's abilities to escape from like really terrible situations, right? So yeah, he's in jail. I do think that this spicy sandwich is not something that I can like sit down and thoroughly enjoy because it's like, I already have heartburn, you know, like, but it is a very good spicy sandwich. You know, like the sandwiches that you get from Burger King or Chick-fil-A or McDonald's, like, they're not really spicy. That's because they're appealing to like a very large group of people. This is like it's called Houston's Hot Chicken, so like the chicken's gonna be hot. It's a good spice level if you like spice. That's what I'm saying. It still tastes really good. The flavor's the same as the mild. They really just upped the spice level. So it's not like it's a bad, unpleasant flavor at all. I really did enjoy their mild version. And I think for my insides, the mild is the most appropriate. However, it still tastes really good. It has a great amount of spice. If you like spicy, you would really like it. And something about this fry seasoning, it's like, I think they do put sugar in it. I think that's something that a lot of places do. Like, doesn't McDonald's put a tiny bit of sugar in their salt or something like that? I don't know. But yeah. I also really like their sauce. Lemonade was okay. I think a lot of lemonade can be like overly sweet or like overly sour. I think this was like a good mix. All right, that's it for my video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. If you liked this video, check out some of the other ones I have on my channel. And let me know if you guys try Houston's hot chicken, or if you liked it, if you didn't, what you thought about the spicy flavor. It's definitely like clearing out my nostrils. So I think it was, honestly, it was a really good chicken sandwich, and the fries are good. The sauce is good. I'm pretty happy with it. So I will see you guys next time. Okay, bye.